me. Leave it to me. Leave it to me. Let's go. Leave it to me. Let's go. Leave it to me. 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 Let's go. Leave it to me. Leave it to me. Leave it to me. Leave it to me. Leave it to me.
Leave it to me. Leave it to me. Wait. Where is he? Where is he? We can't see him. We can't see him like John Cena. No, what? Where are you? Where are you? We can't see him.
Oh, weird.
Where'd you go? Oh no! Another way to start. Some technical difficulties. What? Wait. What? This is definitely never going to be an award-winning show. Oh, boy. Where you go, man?
Let's see. Leave it to me. Oh, there we go.
Oh, wait, what? Let's see. There you go. I was like, wait. I got to leave it to somebody. You know what I'm saying? What is this? Oh, man. Station, what is up, everyone? Station, I guess we can start the show now. Are you ready? Even though, nobody's really watching us right now. We... Oh, those guys? We ain't watching those guys. Those guys are those silly guys. You know what I'm saying? What is going on, Juan? This is the Big Herm Show with my man, Primetime Tom. And, of course, we're here to discuss what we always are loving, wall crawling, city swinging, web slinging. What? John Stout's there? Where? Stout where? But of course, we're here to discuss the Amazing Spider-Man number 60, legacy number 954. Finally, it took us months to get to this one.
Yeah, it did.
We're never gonna get to this one, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna get this. I'm gonna cover the main story. My man here is gonna cover the backstory. And do you have a variant you need to show us? A nice little variant? Oh, wait. Let's show the variant. Let's show us the variant.
Who's this?
Show us the.
Who is this? Who are these people? Is this a series, a mini series we're gonna cover, right? Right? Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah. Lordy have mercy.
Good Lord. Wait. This is a family-friendly, show, all right?
Yeah, family, come on.
Family-friendly, you know what I'm saying? So we're covering number 60 now, the end of the Zeb Wells run. The Zeb Wells, JR. JR will be back in the new series that's coming up, but for now, it's the end. We're going to cry. Another end of an era, which was very controversial. I don't know if it ended as controversial as the Nick Spencer run, but it did. Again, nobody ever likes the Amazing Spider-Man run these days, so I guess it's so bad, you know what I mean? But but you know what? The Zeb Wells run, there's parts of it. We'll talk more about it once we finish this issue. But we'll talk more about it a little bit later. You know what I'm saying? But of course, we always start with how we doing and stuff like that. But before we start with how we doing, today marks the return of a particular segment that we love doing. And I wasn't gonna, because I was with my mom, I wasn't gonna bring anything, but I bought a little something. It's not a little something, not a lot. So, but what am I talking about? Later on, we're doing some show and tell. That beautiful sight. But so some show and tell, which we're both excited for. Tom's been dying to do this for a while, you know what I mean? So we can't wait for some show and tell. Like I said, I don't have nothing big for me, but it's pretty cool. Something I said over Friday night show that I was gonna do, and I'm gonna do it today. I was saying today. It is morning, still morning here, and technically really morning where you're at. It's morning. So we definitely gonna do that tonight, today, whatever, you guys know what I mean, or whenever you watch this. Of course, like I said, if you like the video and you enjoy it, you watch it on the rewind or live, hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Ding, ding, ding that bell for notification for future videos. You can watch awesome shows like this one. Us clowning around, even though we have no viewers right now. But, you know, I'm sure somebody's going to watch us. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's watching. But, you know, it's probably had a lot to do with everybody's over at my boy, which usually I do this show before. I like to do the show before our show sometimes, but he's over at the Comics Look Ahead, so he's doing that over there. It's probably where everybody's at. They was like, we gotta watch Nick. He's more exciting. These two clowns, come on. So for anyone watching that show, it's always fun. I kind of have him right there. He's kind of do the show alone. I feel bad because when I see him alone, I usually join him. At least he has, you know, back-to-back banters between me and him and stuff like that. Stuff he's reading, stuff I'm reading. But it's still a fun show. And you got a lot of guys in the chats there that's keeping him company. So look ahead. And you also have his Nick at Nights. Of course, you know, Christmas time. You know, every Wednesday for us. It's like Christmas every year. 52 times 53 with free comic book day a year. You know what I'm saying? So it's Christmas every week for us, and he'll show you what he picked up on that day, and then the look ahead, and then of course it's Nick at Night. So Nick, great show, great channel, Nick Comic Culture. Check him out, and also talking about some of our guys. You know what I mean? My man Eric and Stu, they're both part of the Ink and Insight crew, which they both had a conversation with Sean Crystal, you know what I'm saying? And a panel perspective and stuff like that. A nice little conversation, which was kind of like, I watched some of it and I was confused because I thought it was just a guy talking. And then you'll hear Eric. So he has but like when he's talking, you see just him. And then when Eric asks a question, then you see him. And then Stu's there. When he asks a question, then you see him. And I think Nick was there too. And then it was kind of like, it was cool, but at the same time, I'd rather have all four of them in the panel. Maybe if they want to like put themselves on the side and just put them. But that's the way they did it. Kudos to them. That's their style right there. I kind of like got a little confused as I was watching it, but then, you know, I started getting into it and stuff like that. I didn't get to finish it, but my man Eric and Stu doing their things, you know, Dr. Dude's Fat Club, 9-panel grid. They both got shows, other shows that they do on there. So visit their channels, and they always have that insight, you know, the Ink and Insight. I keep forgetting Ink and Insight show where they review their books of the week and stuff like that. So check them out. Wednesday nights. They usually do it Wednesday nights. So you know, they're actually still doing the Whiplash Wednesday stuff. So. And then of course,
Paul.
Oh, what? Who? What? How dare you? And then of course, we got our guy Scott. You know what I mean, Mr. S. Vaughn. You know what I mean, and he has a new show that he does Friday nights after hours. Comics with the 3 X's. So that's probably not a family show. You know what I'm saying? So he does it with that guy right there, and I think, of course, Phable was doing the show we were doing, the Blame Phable show. You know what I mean? All new, all different. He's always changing the name. I'm always confused. I still say Amazing Friends, but all new, all different. Blame Phable show, Friday nights. So he went after that show and did that, which I might as well just show it. The all new, all different Blame Phable show. This is issue 8. I think I was in 7 because I did do the show Friday night. I was happy to do it. Or maybe it was 8. I get confused which shows are which. You know what I mean? I get the numbers and stuff like that. but
I want to say
I think it
7.
was 7. Yeah, so 8 is the new one coming up this Friday. So it probably won't be as long as this past one because I don't know if I'm gonna make that show. I'm gonna try, but I had to make one of the shows and I had a blast. You know what I mean? And maybe without me, the show would be a little shorter. You know, maybe I just talk too much. You know what I'm saying? Our 15 to 20 minute intros prove that. You know what I mean? But
We're getting there.
yeah. And then one more. I usually forget to talk about these two wonderful people from the Geeks Unleashed. I don't know if this is their latest. I know they done this one with the Iron Man. They might have done another one. I get confused. I try to listen to it whenever I can because I just don't want to just put them up there just to put them up there. So I kind of like listening to them. But Geeks Unleashed, the Avenger Initiative, they've been doing all these movies, comic book related stuff. Reprinted my homeboy Mark and then my homegirl Jasmine always do a wonderful job there, and sometimes they have guests and stuff. Nice podcasts that they do. I don't know if they've been transitioning into it on the YouTube or just doing it on a podcast, but yeah, check them out on the podcast wherever you get your podcast. Geeks Unleashed, great show, blast. Whether they like the movie or not, they put on a great show. And I always like to listen to it when I'm really paying attention. Sometimes I just put podcasts just to put it some in the mornings when I'm driving to work and stuff. I'm still like half groggy, so I really won't put them on in the morning because I really want they're my people. So I really like to, listen to them. So I'm just glad I had some thumbnails to show to represent our peoples. You know what I mean? There might be 1 or 2 people watching us that don't watch any of this stuff. They're like, oh, okay. And of course, if you want to follow any of our peoples, Bad Batch or Friends of the Bad Batch, I have them in the link down below. Check them out. Enjoy. Like the bottom says, hit the thumbs up if you can. Subscribe to the channel. Ding, 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 that bell for future notifications. Like it always says, you know what I'm saying? And now that I talk forever, Tom, how was your week? How you been? How was your 2 weeks? You know what I'm saying? I know there's a reason why we didn't do, last week we didn't do this show. I was like, damn it, Tom. But then he gave me a good reason. I was like, all right, I'm not mad at you anymore. Tell us, what did you see? What did you do last Saturday?
Oh, well, I went to see the new World. Had a blast.
Yeah.
Movie.
Yes. So I was ready to just like Homer does the bar. Where are you? You go. You know what I mean? And he was like, oh, I want to go see Brave New One. I was like, all right, that's a good enough reason. I ain't mad at you anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what I'm saying? Why you little? But I went to see with the lady the next day, and man, I had a blast.
Yeah.
It's just some guys are skeptical of watching it, and I've said this Friday night. If you haven't seen it, you can't say it stinks or anything like that. You haven't seen it. Maybe you're like, oh, I knew it was gonna be like that. That's why I haven't seen it. Okay, but give it a shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for Endgame, it's a build up to Endgame, Infinity Wars and all that. And I know there's been a slower build up to the next thing. They're trying to figure out new ways of doing something with new characters. Everybody's like, before it was like, oh, we had the same characters. They finally put some new characters. But it's not the money. Blah blah blah. They say blah blah. It sounds like a Dracula, but just give it a shot, man. I understand it's a different Captain America, but I thought Mackie did a wonderful job. You know what I'm saying, Sam Mackie? Wonderful job. I thought he presented himself well, and he took charge of the role. And I thought Falcon, the relationship between him and Falcon, I said this Friday night, was awesome. I loved the adventures together and stuff like that. And I thought the villain was cool. I thought the movie was really good, and there was some parts where they gave you some things here and there. People looking for the next thing all the time, or the ones that are looking to spec guys, looking to sell a book. They were upset that their book didn't do good, so now they wasted their money, so they're pissed. Oh, this movie sucks because my book is not expensive. You know what I mean? But all in all, if you just want to have fun and want to enjoy a comic book movie, you know what I'm saying? This is for our entertainment. It's like when you read a comic book. I see people, it didn't blow my socks off all the time. It didn't sweep me off my feet. Not all books are going to do that, but did it entertain you? Are you entertained? Are we all entertained? You know what I'm saying? Like, Gladiator, you know what I'm saying? But, but, I enjoyed the heck out of it. What did you take out of it? What parts did you enjoy of the movie?
Well, there was I agree with some people on the CG for Red Hulk. It was a little.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought the CGI looked great. Yeah, I thought it was fine. They act like they could do better. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. But go ahead.
It was a little. I don't know. It seemed a little off in some places, but the fight scene was really awesome. Really,
I liked what.
Really,
did you like the suit?
Yeah. The suit was awesome.
Explain the suit a little. Like, it was kind of like the wings were better. It was like a vibranium type suit that he got off Wakanda.
Like a gift from Wakanda, and like ultra shield wings or whatever. And
and what else did you like? Is there anything else that outside, the obvious awesomeness of it?
Yeah, I liked that they brought in was it Isaiah Bradley, the Black Captain America.
Yeah.
It kind of touched on his relationship with Sam and kind of built on that. Oh yeah, and what's his face? Oh, Harrison Ford did a great job as Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah. He had big shoes to fill, but he's Harrison Ford, so he can do it. You know what I mean? And I like how he's still like bothered about his relationship with his daughter and stuff like that. And I love that she came back. You know what I mean? Liv Taylor. It was awesome to have her back in there. Spoilers. I apologize, spoilers, but that's probably been everywhere. But without giving too much spoilers, other than that, I thought it was really good. I thought I gave it a 4.0. I thought I was entertaining enough for what I was looking for, and it's been like a little over a year since we got an MCU movie because people always complain there's so many of them. Like, eh. So I was just finally we got one. You know what I mean? That's probably why it was extra successful. I don't know if I hope it did well this weekend because it did really well last weekend. So the critics were skeptical, but the fans, it did like an 80% on the fans in Rotten Tomatoes or whatever it did. So I thought it was that. So all in all, it's good. What did you rate it?
I think I gave it like a 7 on a 1 out of 10 scale, but
So, out of 5 backlog, let's go. You know how we do this. Come on, you're not new. Out of 5 backlogs, what you give it? So if you gave it a 7, that means you gave it a 3.5.
Yeah, 3.5.
I guess.
Yeah.
That's still a good grade. It should have been a 4, but everybody's treating. No, it's okay. It's okay.
But with that,
But
scores though, if you add them together,
sure. Tifa minus the carry. 3.69, dudes. we finally got someone in the chats. Stationary. I mean, it's Nick's still going, so I'm surprised he's on here. You know what I mean? I was like, Nick is on. There's no way anybody's gonna join us. But yeah, man. So Captain America, man, we both enjoyed it. So it was good to see, good to have an MCU movie back. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I take as many of them as I can. I don't give a crap. Everybody's like, it's too many. So don't go see it, motherfucker. No, some of y'all go see it, so we can have more. You know what I mean? But it's kind of early, so um, I lay off to some of the swear words for now, but yeah, man. So go see it, man. If you like to enjoy yourself, just enjoy it. Don't worry about what books you got that might be expensive, or don't worry about it's just gonna tie into Secret Wars or something. They probably hit a little bit of it, but this is just mostly a comic book movie, like action pack, very well done. I enjoyed it. So to each his own, I guess, if you don't like it, but it's okay if you don't. It's like I always say, it's okay if you don't like it, as long as you go see it and you give it a real chance. Not go see it, but like, this sucks, and then leave. You know what I mean? Give it a shot. You know what I'm saying? But keep on keeping on. You know what I'm saying? Before we finally get to the book, 21 minutes into the show. But like I said, this is not just a review show. we do it's like almost a review / hangout show. You know what I mean? So we definitely like to see what went on in the week. And since Tom said his week was pretty good, right? You say your week was pretty good, right? Did we even talk about that? I don't even remember. But
A little bit cold bug or sinus thing still lingering. But
yeah, damn, man, I had a hell of a January with that. Well, you already know, like we couldn't even do the show because I couldn't even talk. There were so many different things that happened. I'm glad that month's behind me. I still got some sinus issues. That's always gonna be there. Apparently, that's just the way it is. You know, we all get those sinuses. But I'm glad to see you look better. You know, you sound better. So yeah, man. I've had a decent week. I had like up and down week. You know what I'm saying? Especially at work. There's a few changes that happened at work that I didn't love, but I have some new stuff coming out in my job next tomorrow. So I'm a little bit nervous about that. It's gonna be a little bit hectic for me until I learn my new route and stuff like that. But it's been all right. I can't 100% complain. But
yeah,
yes,
we had a substitutes most of the week. My coworker had to call out because, as you know, I don't want to. This is not a politics type show. I don't want to get into all of that stuff. But
you don't want to do that? No, sir.
he's having his family is having some really tough times right now, and so good thoughts to him.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm turning off. I think Nick just finished, so I was just turning it off. But yeah, man, sometimes times is rough, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just, I hate going into politics and stuff like that, but it's kind of affecting my job right now. Like I've had people just, you know what I mean? Just people just ask me questions, like, you know, because I deliver bread for a living, and the particular bread I'm delivering, they're asking me what company it is and stuff like that. And my company is like a Mexican-owned company, so you already know. And where I deliver it, they voted for the current president, so I don't know. I can't see why that the bread has anything to do with the stupid political stuff, but there's a lot of things going on, and TikTok is not helping. So I guess the reason why the man brought TikTok back, but so there's a lot of that. Wherever side you on, like it's got to be a side or something like that. You know what I mean? But it's a rough time right now, so it's a little scary too. But we got to move on, man, because at least we have Spider-Man. At least, you know what I'm saying? For a lot of us who love Spider-Man, you know, there are like Spider-Man fans that are enjoying what happening in the books. They don't enjoy the full stuff that happened because of certain, you know, Nick Lowe, that guy. But which we talked about him a little bit on Friday. But other than that, man, some of the arcs of Zeb Wells' run has been pretty good. We've been enjoying it. You know what I mean? Like, if the overall situation bothers you, I understand, and you can't see past it. Talk about my man Nick. He just finished his show. I just talking to everybody. Like, everybody's watching you, not me, not us. So, but awesome show, man. I'm glad I was able to catch most of it before I started. I wish I was able to be there to go back and forth with you and know some of those books. But Looking Show is always one of my favorite shows you do. So, Station, bro. But yeah, man. Back to Amazing Spider-Man. Back to our world. The real world is boring. No, it's not boring, but you know what I mean. It's too much happening. We don't want to talk about the real world. Screw the real world. No. Yeah, so Amazing Spider-Man. Before we get to the issue, I keep saying that. We're like, oh man, can you review the freaking book already? You know what I'm saying? But the 8th Death of Spider-Man, which started by Joe Kelly. He writes a couple of the books, and then he has a couple of people writing the rest of them while he gets ready for another relaunch, something Eric was talking about Friday night too, and I second him on it. But another relaunch of the Amazing Spider-Man, so it's gonna be number 1 and then legacy number. We're not gonna do, because it's a lot of reading and we're behind so much and we want to get caught up, so before the relaunch happens, we're all caught up, and of course we want to get to the Ultimate Spider-Man series. So what we're going to do is 4 books at a time. So we're going to do 61, 62, 63, 64. The plan is next week. Hopefully we can read all the books. We can read 4 books. We can, because we kind of like, this took so long. So I kind of read those 4 books. I haven't read the last couple of books, but kind of read them already. So I have to do a reread. But we're going to, like, every issue, just spend whatever it is, 5 to 10 minutes on them, and really, like, point out stuff we liked about the issue, stuff we didn't, and stuff that happened, and then a little overall thing on the book. And then we're gonna do that to each book. And we'll do 4 books at a time, because trying to review just one of these books, I was looking, there was a lot of reading in these books. I don't know if you noticed, but I was looking at it like, damn, trying to read. I mean, we could still read along and give you part of the paragraphs that you see there, and just, we've done it before, but no, we going this direction, showing you what we think about the 8th Death of Spider-Man, which I have told people I haven't been digging, but maybe on the reread I'll start digging it a little more. But it's just like little things that happen that maybe because we know the history of Spider-Man, it's like we're doing that again. And maybe new readers, they don't know the history, so they might enjoy it. I mean, who knows? But we'll see. So obviously the big bad is Dr. Doom. You know what I mean? Apparently he's trying Mr. Supreme, Sorcerer Supreme now. Which that I like. I like that he's doing his little thing and stuff like that. He's in the spotlight. But that's what we're gonna do the next 4 issues of that. And now that we've said that, I'm gonna take a quick sip of my Pepsi, and we're gonna finally do the issue. Anything else, Mr. Tom, before I start?
Let's get rolling, man.
Let's get jiggy with it. Na 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 na. Oh no, wrong. Wrong show, guys. Wrong show. Family friendly. Okay, so so Amazing Spider-Man number 60. Finally, half hour into the show. Legacy number 954. Right here, we got ourselves JR cover right here, and then of course my man over there has a different cover. I don't even know who does that cover, but we're gonna have to start doing research on your cover, sir. So Amazing Spider-Man starts off, of course, with the main page, the lettering in the front, like if it was a movie or something like that. Of course, writer Zeb Wells, you know what I mean? John Romita Jr. is the penciler. You know what I'm saying? Scott Hanna inker. Marcel Menz colorist. VC's Joe Caramanga on the letters. And Marcio Menz, is he's the one on your cover? It says cover artist John Romita Jr., Scott Hanna, and Marcio Menz. And then they said that, oh, okay. So they said, of course, Adam Hughes and all these guys on the variants. So you're gonna have to find out who did your covers. You know what I'm saying? But as we start, New York City, the criminal court buildings. We see the judge right there. I see everybody up in the courts and stuff like that. While the judge goes, to say this court is shocked and disappointed is an understatement. The counsel, your client, was not granted bond to rampage through the city in combat with Spider-Man. Which this kind of contradicts what happens after. I'm like, okay, so it was looking bad for him, because Tombstone, they're in the courtroom, you know what I mean, sentencing him, you know what I mean. So as he keeps going, he says, and this trial was granted on the strength of your witness, Madam Prosecutor, a witness who has not left the state. And then the lawyer's like, Your Honor, we believe Janice Lincoln's departure is directly related to, and then the judge is like, I don't care. I read your report, Mary. The only statement I could find that aren't hearsay or conjecture were given by Spider-Man, a mass vigilante. And then Shay's like, in the bottom, she's like, yes, and she's like, who that like to remind the court was brought to the hospital by my client before Mr. Lincoln turned himself in. And he's like, again, counsel, I do not care. I know there are judges in New York City who are happy to bend the president to allow superhero to infect their class. I am not one of them. The unsanction attack of Lonnie Lincoln by Spider-Man has irreparably tainted the case. And with the disappearance of the prosecution witness, I have no choice but to dismiss crack. And Spider-Man and Peter Parker's like, what? Are you serious, bro? I mean, he didn't say the serious bro part, but I just added that in there. Little Zack Ryder there, you know what I'm saying? And outside of the court, She-Hulk's like, I told you the judge was tough. And Peter Parker's like, tough? He's letting Tombstone walk because Spider-Man wouldn't let him murder our witness. And then at the end, Tombstone's like, Parker, let's take a ride. Peter's like, I think I'll walk. Thank you very much. I'm well past fool me twice when it comes to getting in car with you, Mr. Tombstone. And he's like, I just want to talk. We can do it here. And She-Hulk's like, give me a reason. Give me an excuse, Lincoln. I'm begging you. I don't know why she had to sound like him, but that's, she was mad. You know what I mean? And Peter's like, it's okay, Jen. Peter's like, what do you want? And Tombstone's like, got a message for Spider-Man. You want me to... And Peter's like, you want me to tell him you won? That this is all his fault? That the whole case fell apart because he was dumb enough to stand up to you? He's like, no. I want you to tell him I got to the judge. He's like, what? And he's like, this isn't Spider-Man's fault. It's just one of those things. And Peter's like, why are you telling me? And he's like, because I want him to know he won fair and square. But that's not how the word works. As you see him telling him and all that, confrontation, And then Peter's like, apparently not. Is that it? And he's like, no. And as he's walking away, he turns his head, kind of like the Undertaker. When he... And he's like, I want you to thank him for me. He'll know why. And then Peter's like, you're a weird dude, Lincoln. And the reason why I say he'll know why, because in the last issue, if you remember, Pete was telling him, all the stuff about, are you really going to kill your daughter? Can you live with that? You know what I mean? With that guilt kind of thing. And that kind of like had him stop. You know what I mean? So later, you hear someone go, Peter go, May, as there's a little lunchathon going on, and May's like, Peter, what's happened? And he's like, oh, you know everything, Peter. Peter's like, none of it's good. She's like, is this Tombstone? Is this about Tombstone business Spider-Man got you into? And then my headset fell off. I'm gonna keep going. She's like, I really wish you would stay away from him, Peter. He got you killed. He got you killed somehow. Someday. He'll get you killed someday. Man, me losing my headset kind of threw me off. And he's like, may I? And then you hear, woo, 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 woo in the background. Peter's like, what the? As you see in the background. And Peter's like, I know that sound. And then you hear, and you see the Sandman out of nowhere again. He's a villain again. He's like, get everybody inside and lock the door. And Peter's like, where are you going? He's like, I gotta grab something. And she's like, grab something? What are you talking about? As she reopens the door, it's like, yeah, Peter, there you go. As the Sandman's like, out there, the police is like, we need backup. I got eyes on the suspect. It's William Baker. He's like, afraid not. It's Flint Marco is back. And unfortunately for you, I need money. So, the multiple different identities is back. And he's like, and I hate cops. And boom, the cop starts flying. He goes, hey! And then Spider-Man helps him with the twist. As you see him over the lamppost, and he's like, I think you mean, hey, thank you. Whatever, just put me down, the officer said. And Spider-Man's like, Sandman, didn't I hear someone turn you into glass? Into a glass sculpture? And he's like, yeah, you. And Spider-Man's like, right, use a gadget to fry Electro and you got caught in the crossfires. And in the bottom you'll see Amazing Spider-Man 945. Nuttery Nick. There goes that guy again. Anyway, he's like, sorry, memories a little fizzle on account of being a goblin mode at the time. And he's like, but I did remember that I just had a gadget just for you as well. He's like, too bad, Sandman says, as he goes, you'll never get a chance to use it. As you see a nice full top spread of him grabbing Spider-Man and his sandy self. And he's like, look like your bare hands will have to be enough. He's like, okay, fine. He gives him a little deck, but he's made out of sand now. So, it's not going to really hurt him. Technically. But this one does. And he's like, get back here. He's like, sure, right after. I grab my, and then May comes out of nowhere. He's like, May? He's like, are you looking for this? And he goes, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be, move. And she's like, oh dear. And he's like, as the Sandman tries to get them. And he got her right out of the way. And Sandman grabs Spider-Man. And Sandman's like, you're out of trick, Spider-Man. He's like, sorry, but that demonstrably false. And he's like, look down. And then there's a little beep, 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 beep in the bottom. And it explodes. Kabalooey. And then you see sand, raining sand everywhere. And Peter's like, well, that worked. And May's like, did I just help you kill someone? And Spider-Man's like, what? No, the sound was a frequency to prevent Sandman from forming. He's like, look, he's pretty much immortal at this point. And he's like, but more importantly, what are you doing here? I thought Peter told you to stay inside the feast center. I couldn't find the feast center. That's what they were at. A little event going on. And May's like, so he did sneak off. I called you. I knew it. He did sneak off to call you. I knew it. And she's like, do you know what you're doing to the young man's life? And he's like, what? And she's like, have you seen his face? This business with Tombstone almost killed him. And she's like, which is just the latest in a long line of close calls he endured as a result of helping you. Peter got a good heart. Aren't you worried you're going to get him killed? He's like, yeah, of course I am. Then she's like, then leave him alone. He can't keep running out to find you at first sign of danger. And she's like, do you know what he's given up to help you? The relationships he lost, the work. Do you have any idea what you cost my nephew? And he's like, Spider-Man's like, I do. Yes. And she's like, then please, I'm begging you, leave Peter Parker alone. As she walks away, he goes, May? Like, May, wait. Peter, he was working with me because he wants to help. Not that. And he's like, no, that's not right. He needs to help. We've gone our separate ways a few times, and it never sticks. Because he knows if someone in trouble and he doesn't call me, well, he won't be able to live with himself. Because he wouldn't have done everything in his power to help. And then he wouldn't. And she's like, oh, he wouldn't be Peter Parker, Aunt May says. And she's like, you be safe out there, Spider-Man. And Peter's like, you too, Miss Parker. Meanwhile, in Harlem, Tombstone is sitting down. And you hear, I know you're there, Rabbit, as he says. He's like, you got something to say? She's like, I'm leaving, boss. And I'm not coming back. And he's like, this about Janice. She's like, you sent me to kill my friend. Thought I'd do anything for you. I was wrong. And he's like, I knew you wouldn't do it. And she's like, that's a bigger problem. I knew you would. He's like, I didn't. She's like, yeah. Why not? She looks at him kind of like serious, like, why didn't you? You know what I mean? He just looks and just doesn't say anything. And she's like, see you around, boss. I'm taking Kareem with me. So, she really threatened. You know, I'll take Kareem with me. You know, I was like, wow. Meanwhile, back in Queens, as we're back in Queens, Peter's with Aunt May, and he's like, so I called Spider-Man, but then it was like a snowstorm blew in, and I ran into a light post. I'm telling you, it wasn't for bad luck. And she's like, Peter, stop. He's like, I knew it's hard to believe, but, and she's like, that's not what I mean. I've done a lot of thinking today, and I realized something I knew but didn't know I knew. And that is, when my nephew runs off and tells a white lie or gets himself hurt, it's because someone needs help, isn't it? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, I know this is silly, but I think Ben is smiling somewhere. He's like, it's not silly. Aunt May. And she's like, let's not get the food cold because they're eating pizza. And he's like, oh, you knew? You know I'm seeing someone? Oh, she's like, oh, did you know I'm seeing someone? She's like, shit, yeah. Aunt talks about all the time. She can't stop talking about it. And me and that Sandman was an absolute sweetheart. But he seems like a real ass to me. and Peter's like, May. Oh, she's like, oh, sorry. And of course, they don't show the curse word. I think she'll say the ass, or maybe asshole, a real asshole to me, but of course, I'm not going to write that. So that's the end of the Zeb Wells run. As they show the next few things. But my man Tom's got to read all that of all the people doing the shows. But before we get to that, I'm going to go get my earpiece that fell. And you tell me, Tom, what you think about the end of this.
Well, I thought it was a little interesting. I thought it was kind of interesting the way Tombstone went out. He kind of just, you know, put his hands up in the air and kind of just said, okay, Spider-Man, you win. And we're done. After everything, all that stuff we went through in Gang War. He's like, I'll let you have this win. So
yeah, I like well, usually when you see a finale happen the way it happened in the last issue, you see maybe a one-page outcome of what happened, and then you don't really know much. So I kind of appreciate it. Nick's like, you had me at the end of the run. um, I kind of I kind of like that they had this little what happened after, after everything that happened towards the end of the last issue, and then in the courts he still got away with it because he's a crime boss. He pulled out the judge. It made no sense what the judge was saying. He was contradicting himself like always, and of course, Tombstone admitting that Spider-Man did win. Like you were saying, but because I'm boss, a crime boss, I have money, I get away with things. You know what I mean? So but Spider-Man got to him, and he was right about not killing Janice. You know what I mean? Like he just couldn't do it. That's his daughter. He messed up that relationship though. They're never gonna talk. But yeah, I love the whole segment, the whole thing. Like I said, if they would do a trade just on the Tombstone part of the whole Zeb Wells run, that would be really cool. That's the best part of the whole run. We were able to enjoy it. He has other decent arcs on here, Zeb Wells, but overall for the run, you know what I mean. I know a lot of people disliked Spider-Man, and it's mostly because freaking editor. They do not allow a lot of things that a lot of people like to see happen. Like the MJ stuff, the whole jackpot stuff, and all that. I don't know if that was 100% low, but that's Marvel. Like really, really.
And then that whole guy.
What? Who? And then you had the whole jackpot thing, the whole I'm missing one, the chasm thing that they built from the series before, which is still going on. We still got more to do on this book. We still have the little short stories, which a couple of them are cool, a couple of them But before we get to that part, we'll talk about more about that once we finish the small stories. But after it, but overall, was it that big finale that you were looking for? No, I wish for a big book like this that the whole book could have been the finale, kind of like Dan Slott end of his run. Even though Dan Slott had an issue after it, but I wish this book was like that. But it was just literally a big prologue of what happened. Instead of giving you just one page, the issue before they gave you a comic book about it. So it's a little different from what they usually do, but I still enjoy some of it. But yeah, like overall, that arc was great. The Zeb Wells run, is it one of our favorite runs? Obviously not. You know what I mean? I can arguably say that. I know people don't like when I say Nick Spencer. That there's arcs of Nick Spencer that I actually did enjoy. It's just that went off the rails and too long, and but there's some things about that was a little bit better than the Zeb Wells run. But the arc with Tombstone, if you look at both runs, that's my favorite run lately in the past 5, 6, 7 years. So I'm glad they ended up with the Tombstone stuff because a lot of the other stuff, and of course the Norman Osborn stuff with the Green Goblin, the way they built the friendship and stuff like that, and then Peter or him a friend, the whole thing. Eventually, you knew he was gonna turn. But it had a lot to do with the Green Goblin part of him and stuff like that. I enjoy some of that. As you might see him again, Norman Osborn. Spoilers in the next series, and I have stuff to say about that when we finally cover that. But yeah, man. So overall, what you thought of the Zeb Wells run? You could say you hated half of it, you love half of it. What you thought of it?
Well, I gotta say, one thing that you'll probably agree with me with was one of our favorite kooky sidekicks, the introduction of the goofiest, craziest, most people think unnecessary characters ever introduced in Spider-Man. But I like him. He's that goofy. He's that lovable, at least to me. And I know you probably feel the same way. You think he's pretty awesome. We need an action figure. But yeah, the whole history with Norman Osborn and Green Goblin, and and then, like you said, him and Peter becoming friends, and then eventually the Green Goblin side creeping back out, and that whole tension, and then seeing Peter take on the mantle of Green Goblin or Spider Goblin for a couple of issues was pretty interesting, pretty cool to see. And then as you were talking, I was thinking about it, how they were building up the whole, like, thinking about the Sinister Six. I was hoping to see like a big build up of them versus Spidey, and that was just like anticlimactic.
Yeah.
The Green Goblin pretty much did away with them, knocked them all
Yeah,
out.
he whooped him like nothing.
Yeah, well, or maybe it was more Spider Goblin, but
The Spider Goblin, he was just so sinister
yeah,
because he was Spider Man with Spider Goblin powers. Because it was like two people in one, so he was so powerful that he just knocked them all out like nothing. But yeah, they
and
kind of
then
overdid it with that. Yeah, I agree.
my
Keep
favorite,
going, man.
yeah, my favorite part though, like you were saying, was the whole Tombstone arc, the whole gangster war was amazing.
Which Nick said it was good in the beginning. The whole thing was good, bro. The whole thing was good. Like I understand, like the whole thing, the whole Janet stuff. At least we enjoyed it. You know what I mean? But I understand. I understand.
Yeah,
And of course the Kamala thing. I don't think that had a lot to do with Zeb Wells. That's as you already know. That's editorial, the whole X-Men thing, and they just wanted to find a way to get her into the X-Men to get the whole that human thing out of the way. That was done wrong, poorly. I agree with that. But unfortunately, us Spider-Man fans, if we're gonna keep enjoying the Spider-Man, because that's our favorite character, we gotta look past stuff like that. You're gonna have to, and now you're never gonna enjoy anything. You know what I'm saying? But that was just terrible. You know what I mean? I agree with that. You know, I know we'll mess around Friday night and stuff like that, but
and of course you're
yeah.
always gonna have the same clone angst. You're gonna have Ben Reilly being in the shadow of Peter Parker, yearning to be him, yearning to be the Spider-Man, the one and only, and to have Peter Parker take a back seat. It's always going to be there. But do we have to give Ben Reilly a new freaking suit every damn time?
I don't even care about the new suit. I just don't like the name and the
Yeah, the name is.
um. I understand why they, if he's like Peter Parker, you want to make him a villain, the villain version of him and stuff like that. It's just there's so much history there with him, and he's beloved by a lot of fans, a lot of Spider-Man fans outside. There was no Miles Morales yet. You know what I mean? When we got Ben Reilly, so a lot of people really like the character, and that's why you had him and you had Kane. And Kane's supposed to be the bad guy, and then Kane is actually the good guy. You know what I mean? He's always stopping Ben Riley because, you know, and the new series, oh God, it is so bad.
Oh, you mean
I'm reading it through Marvel Unlimited, but
that was
what
the one
happened?
review, right? Yeah, you were going to review that.
Yeah, I was gonna read it right after you review Jackpot. So you know what I'm saying.
Oh, no.
But yeah. So yes. Unfortunately, editorial I know a lot of that is editorial. I know a lot, like you can't. I know people like to blame Zeb Wells for that, and unfortunately, he's the one in the front for it. But I understand the frustrations between people and editorial and the book. You know what I mean? Like it's sad that stuff like that piss people off to the point where they don't want to read the book. But like I said, unfortunately, we have our favorite. Spider-Man's our favorite, and we're gonna keep reading it. And fortunately, there are arcs that editorial tries to stay away from that they're able to tell a good story. And yeah, so oh man, but coming up, the eighth deaths of Spider-Man, something I'm not looking forward to even covering because I really didn't enjoy it. I know like Eric was enjoying the first beginning of it, and then he started like going back to Earth with it a little bit. But I haven't seen his last show or something like that. I don't know if he's been still reading it. But yeah. So, if it's not your favorite character, or you like Spider-Man, but not enough to keep reading like us, I totally understand. You probably like other stories that really anybody, not just I'm not just talking to Nick. I'm talking to everybody. Um, totally understand, bro. Totally understand. Um, yeah. Other than that, you have anything to say? It's actually your turn. We still have a full book. That's why I didn't cover every little thing because there's some things in here that do bother me. That I'm like, oh my god, you know what I mean? And then if Eric's still listening, he probably gonna love some of this part, and he's probably gonna love my agony. You know what I'm saying? But keep going, man. So the next
So,
series. This I know this was the one you really wanted to do.
yeah, the back end or the little. So the introduction of this little section was
Before you do that, who's writing it and who's drawing it? Come on, man.
amazingly. We thought we were done with Zeb, but
Nope. Dun dun dun.
little like slivers of stories in between the main storylines that Zeb wanted to. He still wanted to play in Spidey's playground. Is how they were saying it. So he got together some of his fellow teammates, other writers and colorers, and people like Ed McGuinness and Marcial Menez and Joe Caramagna.
Caramanga? Or
Caramagna.
something like that, whatever. I say it wrong all the time.
And one of my favorite artists, Patrick Gleason. Even and lends his art.
Everybody knows I love Patrick Gleason, so hell yeah.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so this is like a little compilation of, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 or 6 shorter little snippets, if you want to call them that. But yeah, so you got Doctor's Orders. That's the first one. It's you got Zeb on that. You got Ed McGuinness, the penciler. But yeah, should I jump in?
Yeah, jump in. I keep dropping my earpiece. That's why I leave it real quick.
So on this one's called Doctor's Orders. We got our man Zeb on it. We got Ed McGuinness. We got Marcio Menez. And we got Joe Caramagna. So it's got the little breakdown of those people there. And we've got Spidey at the hospital. And we've got at first I thought it was a veterinarian. And he's all saying, he's like, well, Spider-Man, there's some bruising on his heart, but I think he'll make a full recovery. I don't usually treat cases like this, but I'm glad you brought him in. You say he's a rescue? And Spidey's like, well, nah, he's not. He's not mine. But I guess I've rescued him before, and he's actually rescued me a couple of times, which is really embarrassing. He's like, well, what the heck? And I'm thinking at this point, well, what the heck are you talking about? There's nothing wrong with a dog, the dog saving your life too. I mean, that's what they're there for, man's best friend. And then turn to find out it's our man. And the doctor's like, well, he's your pet, right? He's like, no, he's not my pet. He's and then boom, boom, boom. One of my favorite characters, Rick Rap.
That's a huge pet.
And he's sitting there like cradling the goblins or Spidey goblins glider like it's his toy. He's like in the web wiping spider guy, our partners. And Spidey's like, web wiping? And the doctor's like, should you let him play with that device that injured him in the first place? It's like, he bit me when I tried to take it back from him. And Peter's like, nah, he's fine. The next thing you know, Rick Rap's like touching the button. Hi, button. Next thing you know, he goes flying out of the window. And of course, and he's like, take the night off, Wolf Scooter. New Yorkie has another hero guy tonight. The web-winging Rick Rap is here to stay. got his tongue sticking out, much like a dog. And
Yeah, it's a nice picture of him. It's a nice drawing of him, man.
then the doctor's like, okay, and that will be $3,000. Spidey's like, what? Like, are you nuts? And of course, by that point, I'm thinking, does he mean $3,000 to repair his window that red crap just broke? Probably. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty
I like
humorous.
in the bottom it says, "Sorry, Joe, now you have to use them." So you're
Yeah,
talking about Joe Kelly. Because Ed McGuinness will do some art for him, so
yeah.
we might see him. Like we love Rec Rap, so like there might be some. It's 50-50. Like when we look at some Spidey fans, that because I listen to podcasts, whatever it is, podcasts or on Instagram, and I like to see what the Spidey fans are saying. I have like a forgot different platforms for Spider-Man fans, and it's 50-50. Some people love him, and some people don't. And the Spidey fans, like, whether you like him or not, you know what I mean, they're always consistent with it. Like the Zeb Wells run, like a lot of Spidey fans who read it, there are Spidey fans that are actually enjoying a lot of the issues. Believe it or not, if you're like, um, there's one that's not even a Spidey fan. They're comic book fans, and they're like old school, called iFanboy. Um, iFanboy, and they do a podcast right now. iFanboy podcast. They've been doing it since dial up. You know what I mean? You know, since
Hmm.
I mean, a little past dial up. I think it was 2002 or something like that. They've been doing comic books and stuff. So they run down. They do their best comic in the top. They run down a list of comics that they read. It's not everything, because they can't get through everything. And then they have a Patreon pick where the patrons pick the stuff. And a lot of times they pick the Spider-Man comic out of the whole run as their favorite book of that particular week. So um, I guess to each his own. It depends on the reader. These guys been doing it for so long, so and they don't really look at what the media does. They don't have time for that or what they hear from it. So reason why I'm saying this is it's amazing how different it's all one community, but it's actually different. You know what I mean? How different community puts how they like particular books or something like that. So we enjoyed this part of it, and yeah, man. So we like this little story, and unfortunately, we're not gonna like them all. So like, I guess we could keep going.
So the next one is, once again, we got Zeb on it. Well, Team Up Part 2. We've got Todd Nauk is the artist, Rochelle Rosenberg, color artist, and Mr. Joe Caramagna. Hope I don't butcher his name. VC's Joe Caramagna is the letterer. And this brings back in one of our favorite ladies. Well, at least MJ, at least. We could do away with. Anyway, so it opens with this unique villain called the Dichromator, or I think that's what he's called. Anyway, so he's like wrecking havoc. He's got this staff with like a gem. He's like, your temple of color has fallen. Your pigments belong to me, the Dichromator. And Jackpot, she's like, a lot of chit chat just to say you tore up a rave in Williamsburg, but this is as far as you go.
That's where I'm at.
About me. Red plus white plus yellow. Have you the cones of your color sponges not seen my power? With the Prismaticon, I have scattered red plus blue. So it's a pretty cool art, pretty interesting looking villain. And the next thing you know, you got Spidey, but obviously Spidey's like split into different like colors and stuff. The Dichromator guy working his stuff. Peter's like, yeah, you did something, that's for sure. One of the Spideys is like, I'm your friendly neighborhood yellow plus green. Another one's like, I'm your friendly neighborhood green plus black. And another one's like, I'm your friendly neighborhood. He's like, guys, we can't do this every time someone mentions us. I kind of have my hands full, Jackpot. She's like, I just need you to keep him busy for a few more seconds. And Decorator's like, the color of your words clash with the hue of reality. A lifetime of seconds would not be enough palette to defeat me. And she's like, wrong. She's like, because I just got Joker's Wild, or I just get the jackpot. She zaps him with whatever device Paul made her.
Ooh!
And
What?
then blast made her into oblivion. He's like, corporeal form desaturated. My inner color bleeds together. I'm going to do. And then later on, gets to Jason. He's like, I told you this was all related to that blasted dubstep music. And Jackpot's like, it wasn't the music, Jonah. Colors have power wherever Dead Cremator came from. For all we know, the lights of that festival called him. He's like, stop the presses. This just in. I don't give a blast. I've been trying to bring this guy to justice for months. I'm just glad he blew up. And he's like looking over at Spidey. He's like, what's with him? She's like, yeah, he's got his pigment split by a magical prismatic artifact. I think it's wearing off. I'm the friendly. He's like, Spidey's like, God, I'm glad to get rid of these guys. I'm swear to God, fellas. And then Peter's like, well, you know, now that everything's now the Dichromator's gone, I'm going to go talk to Dr. Strange about this whole thing. Jameson's like, Strange? He's like, this is my color. And then Spidey's like, wait a minute, it's 8:30. And then him and Jackpot are like, oh, crap, we have somewhere we have to be. And Jameson's like, what the heck are you talking about? I'm like, sorry, wait, we got to split. So they're realizing that they're late to their quote-unquote, I guess, double date with Shay and Paul. And they're sitting there changing into their normal street clothes. And
I like how they're changing behind the trash can, like they never seen each other naked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh wait. They never did. They never did. Sorry, kids. It's like, come on, man.
So she's all
I
like,
get it.
she's all like, why did you want to double date in the first place? He's like, well, it was no Shay's idea. She likes you a lot. She wants to, you know, get to know you as my ex. She's like, well, doesn't that kind of make you uncomfortable? He's like, well, you know, it's just the way it is. And so they start to, you know, rush over to the restaurant, and MJ's getting all the feels. Like, oh, Peter, that was just so much fun fighting side by side. And she's like, it was so cool fighting the color demon and arguing with Jonah and rushing across town so we didn't disappoint our dates. And he's like, yeah, that's great, MJ. He's like, we really need to get in there. She's like, but you brought me home. She said, you didn't stop looking for me until you found me. Thank you, Peter.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like the art and the facial expressions.
Yeah, the art's really good. That's one thing about this is the art's really good.
So they finally get there and they sit down at the table, and and Paul playing friendly and stuff and blah blah blah. And Shay's like, Peter's like, oh, sorry we're late. You'll never believe what happened. Shay's like, oh, it's fine. Paul told me all the downtown trains were messed up because of us rebelling in Williamsburg. She's like, if I had a dime for every time I heard a story like that. And Peter's like, oh, waiter, can you get me some dimes? And they're like, ah. And then Shay's like, oh, you laughed. Now he's not going to stop. And MJ's like, you're a quick study. And then you see the claws of Chasm.
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord.
So the cool part about this story is Williamsburg is where I grew up. You know, born and grew up in. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, so shout out to Williamsburg. A lot of people probably who read this that's not from New York or not from Brooklyn even probably wouldn't know what Williamsburg is. They probably think it's the one in what was it, Virginia? There's a Williamsburg there, I guess, or
Mm-hmm.
one of those states. But yeah. um, well, I guess it's showing like MJ teaming up with Spider and understanding all them times. Even though she was actually pretty cool, especially when they were married. One time they were married, believe it or not. Um, but she felt lonely and stuff. But she really is starting to find out like they had somewhere to be, and that superhearing always interferes with it. So now, it's cool for her to be doing that with Peter now. Even though they had a little moment there that, they were like, oh, okay. And then, oh, yeah, yeah, we got dates. And then they do what they got to do
Mm-hmm.
with the poor guy.
Ugh.
And it's Shay, which I'm not hating on Shay, you know what I'm saying? She's just not MJ, you know what I'm saying? That's just but that's his relationship right now. But
She's not Black Cat either. But you know.
but but true. Um,
It's not
but
Black.
they, you know, but exactly. But they, it's kind of weird. Like now he was covering for them both, and they both come in at the same time, kind of thing. It's, I guess, you know what I mean. But then you see Chasm there, and you're like, oh no,
Yeah.
oh no, what's going on? But wait, there's more. We'll find out in a little while. But
Hmm?
as you see, like a lot of things that happen in these small stories is stuff that's been happening throughout the arcs, the recent arcs. Kind of like the Wreck Rap thing that happened towards their battle before with the Goblin and stuff. Back to the present. So it wasn't a horrible story, but I guess stuff that we didn't really like about it. But we'll keep it moving on. We got some more stories here. What's the next one? What did you like about it? Did you like anything about this last story before we go?
I just like I guess I like the fact that MJ gets to fight alongside Peter and they get to, kind of rekindle some of their
Yeah,
chemistry.
I guess. Yeah, I guess that's what they were looking for. Zeb was looking for in this particular thing. She got to do it, even though we're not like really everybody's got to be a superhero now. But I guess if that's gonna happen, that particular thing you like about it, exactly. I agree with that. All right, let's keep on keeping on. Before we keep on keeping on, we got a certain sleepy reader in the house. Station. Yeah.
Grandpa,
So.
Grandpa, you made
uh, Station. What's going on, Damien?
Or is it Vulture? Oh, Vulture,
Oh,
yeah.
Vulture. Uh-oh. All right, next story.
All right. So this next one kind of like obviously didn't fit in with any of the storylines, any of the arcs, but it was kind of a fun little thing because we got to see a special little cameo of a certain vibranium clawed mutant. I wonder who that is. Wait a minute. Did I say vibranium? I'm adamantium. Sorry. Oh god.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Anyway, I digress.
Get off my lawn, Tom. Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. So we open at a bar, and we got this. We obviously got Logan. He's all drunk. He's like, you don't have to come out every year. And Peter's like, no, you made it clear this was important to you. He's like, never meant for it to become a thing. Was having a bad day. Now I cannot do a Wolverine voice. My life depended on it.
Listen here, bub.
Yeah, there you go.
You can do it.
He's like, Well, you were having a bad special day. Not going to happen on my watch. We read this up together. Bartender's like, you want some? And Spidey's like, nah, better not. I'm driving. And the guy's like, oh, funny, very funny. And then Logan's like, well, look at that, 12:01 in the a.m. Day's over. And Spidey's like, speaking of things we don't have to do every year. It's just kind of funny seeing Logan pull Wolverine mask, street clothes, and then Spidey, keeping his full mask on except for lifting it up to, use the mouth to drink the milk and all that stuff. And then, and then Spidey's like, could have lived without the pointless bar fight. And then, like, got bored.
You see everybody beat up on the floor.
Yeah. Maybe next time you'll bring me a present. And then you see some bras hanging by the. I just noticed that on the ceiling fan. And then they're outside, and Spidey had like a scarf around him and a coat. Spidey's like, same time next year. And then Wolverine's like, yeah, that's how these things work, yeah? Hey, bub. Like, hey, no joke. Appreciate you coming out again. Spidey's like, told you I'm never going to miss it. Happy birthday, Logan. You're a good guy. He's like, yeah, right, bub. See you around.
Nice little story between them.
Yeah.
And that's who wrote it again? Who wrote it and who? It shows you right there in the end.
So it was Zeb. It's called Bub.
Again.
It looks like
So, nice.
The art.
Caramanga's doing it, yeah.
All over
The lettering and stuff, yeah. You know what I mean. Well, it was a cute little story. The art was decent. Nice scruffy little art, but it worked. Spidey and him meet up every, I guess, Christmas Eve. I guess this is. I guess Christmas Eve is his birthday, or is it New Year's Eve? I don't even know. They really don't really. I guess it's Christmas Eve because he said you didn't bring me a present. But it's cool that they meet every year. They're buddies like that, every once in a while. Yeah, so pretty cool. What you think of the story? Not a long story, but
Yep. Hold on there.
There you go. I guess we're gearing up for the final story, right? This is the final story?
I think it is, yeah.
Oh, no, it's not. It's not. It's okay. This is the story I was talking about earlier. Like, oh, boy. Here we go. Keep going. Let's go.
All right.
You all right? You all right over there?
Oh, yeah. I should be okay. As long as I don't get embarrass myself in front of the whole comic book community, Marvel especially.
Uh-oh.
Remember what Wolverine's claws are made out of? Oh, my gosh.
We all get brain farts, man. Don't worry about it. It happens to me all the time.
This one is called Same Spider Channel. It's got Zeb, our boy Zeb. He's the writer. And Patrick Gleason.
Our boy's Patrick Gleason. Let's go.
And we got Edgar Delgado. He's the color artist. And then once again, Mr. Joe. So we've got opens up on Spidey fighting this villain called the Bushwhacker. And he's like, "Come on, Bushwhacker! If you didn't want me around, you shouldn't have put silencers on those things." And it looks like, I guess, Bushwhacker can turn his hands morph into like guns and stuff. He's like, "The noise is the point, Spider-Man. I want a chance to pay you back for tuning me up in Texas." And Spidey's like, "You must store your bullets where your brain should be. I never fly you in Texas." And then Bushwhacker goes in for the mega guns. He's like, yeah, you did. He said, you had a fancy new suit and everything. Look, I can make new stuff too. Next thing you know, thwap! His guns disappear, and then out of nowhere appears Chasm. So he's like,
Oh boy.
Hey, Chasm. And then Bushwhacker's like, Chasm, name doesn't ring a bell, but I hope you have a taste for lead because I'm about to feed you. He's like, my hands. And then Chasm's like, yeah, don't let the psychoreactive goo. It'll only be temporary. And he knocks him out. And Chasm's like,
Oh boy.
like, got it. Like, oh. And then, so you got the two twins sitting down in the coffee shop. And Ben's all like, so when Marcus told me Bushwhacker was looking for payback, Peter's like, let me guess, she went looking for him. That's why you showed up so quickly. And Ben's like, sure. And Peter's like, say, I wanted to thank you for your help during the Osborne situation. I would have been in real trouble if you had snapped me out of the Winkler device's programming. And Ben's like, well, I thought my cure was going to kill you there for a second. And Peter's like, yeah, that would have been bad. Ben's like, sure. Kind of like the annoyed younger brother. And
Always.
Peter's realizing that, like dead air, like crickets, like things are a little uncomfortable. So he's like, oh, so how's things with Howell's Eve or Janine?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, wait, is that what you call her? Do you call her Eve, Janine? He's like anything but MJ. Got confused once, and I'm still hearing about it. And he's like, she's good. Thanks for asking. He's like, we try to do our own things when we can. It's like she took a page out of one of those relationship books. Peter's all trying to be like peppy and like, oh, that's great. Those relationship books are really good self-help things. And Peter's like, so yeah, I kind of feel like I'm driving the whole conversation here. Ben's like, I'll just get to the point. It's like, last time we sat down together, I told you I was going to be Spider-Man for the Beyond Corporation because the Beyond Corporation approached him when Spidey was out of the loop and dead. And he's like, I got the sense you were worried I wanted your life for myself. He's like, no, Ben, I just thought, look, I don't want to drum up old. And Ben's like, you were right. I did want it. I've been talking to Janine about it a lot. I'm not obsessed with you anymore, Peter. I'm ready to move on. I need to find my own life. I need to get out of your shadow. I'm asking for a ceasefire. Peter's like, are you for real? He's back to, sure. It's like, Pete, I've been stuck in your orbit for too long. That's going to end. I can't. And Peter's like, I can't give you space if you're hurting people. You have to keep your nose clean. It's like, but, if you're serious, I can give you a chance to prove yourself. He's like, I've got to go, Ben. And Jameson's, he's bothering me. You know how Jonah is. He's messaging me about this color-obsessed demon or whatever. He's like, this coffee's on me. Lay some money down on the table. He's like, Peter. It's like, thank you. It's like, you're welcome, Ben. I'm rooting for you. So at that point, Ben's turned back in, got his chasm suit up, thinking about everything he told Peter. He's like, well, I told Peter 3 lies today. I wasn't looking for Bushwhacker. I was looking for him. It's like I told him it would be bad if he was gone. When a part of me wants nothing more. And then there was the biggest fib of all. He asked, "Am I for real?" And I said, "Yes." He says, "We both know I'm not real, Peter. My life is a shadow. You live in the light, and so I watch and wait for my chance to take it all back." Do, do, do. It shows him being a peeping Ben. I mean, a peeping Tom. I mean, a peeping Ben.
People man. Pretty much what he did. Oh boy.
Yeah.
It's like since the last time he was in the book, you thought he was like finally turning a page. You thought, oh okay, they're moving on from evil Ben. You know what I mean? And then they throw it back. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
Now you think about, they're relaunching a new series, stuff like that. Maybe they move on from this. Maybe the new series that comes up, they put an end to it. Nope. So now we might be seeing this more
Mm-hmm.
in the main book. I'm like, oh brother. I
Yeah.
hope it's in an annual or something, or there's a one shot or something. But yeah, we're not getting away from this yet. It's like, oh. It's disappointing, you know what I mean? This is one thing that's probably universal in Spider-Man fans. Like, not many fans dig Chasm. And like I talked earlier about, it's 50-50 amongst all the different kind of fans. This one, everybody's almost universal about. You know what I mean? It's just like, when you thought it was gone, it comes back to you. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, no. More Chasm series and more of Tom reviewing it. You know what I mean? So, oh man, I know you were thinking the same thing when it comes to the Chasm stuff, but when you read that, what were you thinking? Kind of the same thing, right?
I was kind of thinking maybe Sleepy Reader might want to take the mantle to do that.
Take the mantle to do that one, right?
Sorry, Damien.
Oh boy. So it's just like, and
And I still wonder, did they ever explain the meaning behind the name Chasm?
no, it was just they wanted a name and they came up with that. And the ugly suit, which I still would get the figure. I think, didn't you get the figure or something like that?
Yeah.
But like, I haven't seen it. I would have gotten it too, not because we love it, it's because it's part of the history. But
Yeah, and the
we were
book.
hoping Ben Riley would turn the page with his lady and stuff, and here we go again. Hopefully, this is one thing they forgot they mentioned, and then they never go back to it. It has happened, you know what I mean? But they need to keep on keeping on, right?
Yep. And
So this next
yeah.
this next story, I don't think you have to, because we're running pretty late. I don't think you have to completely read everything. Just tell us the majority of what's going on in it, because this is setting up for the new arc that's coming up.
Yeah.
It's already happening, but for us, it's coming up.
Yeah. So this is it's pretty much got Joe Kelly, like a prologue to his run. It's got some police helicopters flying in, and this army of guys, like, seems like they're taking hostages and whatever, and it's got Spidey doing like a voiceover type thing. And he's like, "Speaking as an armchair expert on the subject, there seems to be three kinds of gangsters: the hide my money in my significant other / grandma's mattress type, the I built a military grade bunker / casino to house my millions type, and the I took a crypto bros online course and now trade billions with the big dogs type." And he's like, "P.S. I eat ramen 3 times a week from my third-hand armchair. And I have also saved the world, but I digress. So Speedy's... Did I say Speedy? Spidey.
Yeah, I was like, who's Speedy?
Man, my voice is going. So
Did a lot of stories. It's okay.
Fighting a villain called Override. And Spidey's got on some kind of like helmet thing, I guess, to break the frequency that this Override guy is sending. He's like, it's Override, it's Override. I can't even think less. And so it shows him, I don't know, fighting Override's guys, and then knocking some of them. I guess some of Override's overriding.
Yeah.
So Peter's like, this man has proven time and again his conviction that the needs of the many outweigh his own. Despite the objective imbalance in physical strength and resources, he engages far superior foes, often to an unheralded success, while at the same time suffering greatly. Great suffering will be required in the works ahead. Problem is, Override can hijack my tech with a snap of his fingers, then do who knows what if he gets a second to think. And Override's like, you idiot! This is a delicate operation. One doesn't cough in the midst of greatness. And then Spidey gets a one-up on him and grabs him by his helmet or whatever is powering him. And they have a scuffle. And he's like, which is how long it took me to design and kitbosh a microfield electrical impulse disruptor from random equipment Override outfitted his goons with. He's like, nailed it. And all the money in the world is saved by your friendly neighborhood ramen man. And then you see like this crystal ball type thing. And you hear this voice. Enough, it is decided. It is correct. And then Spider-Man will be my champion in the Covenant. He will fight not for me, but for them. He will suffer for them. Spider-Man will die for them, and die again and again. So says Doom.
Dun dun dun. Sorcerer Supreme Doom. It says to be continuing number 61 with the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. So here we go. 8 Deaths. You know, that's the first cover right there of the 8 Deaths. So here we go, man. We're gonna start covering it next week. The first 4 issues. Like I said, we're doing an abbreviated version of it where we're not gonna go through everything they say on that thing like we do a read along. We're pretty much gonna pinpoint some stuff in the pages, maybe go through it and kind of like what you do, but without reading everything and stuff like that. And can't wait to cover it with you. I do want to. Looking forward to rereading it. A lot of times, like we've done this before, where even if we didn't like it the first time, we end up liking it a little better the second time after a second read. And Eric's like, "Oh snap, we made it through 8 deaths." So we're covering the 4 issues. Like I said, no read along, but we're gonna go through it, talk about it. We're gonna enjoy it. But before we talk about the rest of that, what we think of this issue? If what would we grade it? If I had to grade this particular issue, I didn't love the main story, but I liked that it was like a longer prologue, like I said earlier, instead of just giving you 1 page like like usually they do. Coming up, that's what they did with this book. They didn't give you too much. Enjoyed the rec rap, but you know, like I said, for Spider-Man fans around, you know, the community, half and half on that. Even though we didn't like Jackpot, the story with her and Peter fighting crime and then they had to dress and stuff and go to their dates and stuff because they're late. Now they're both late for it. I guess that was pretty cool. Other than that, the Wolverine story, the short story that they meet up every year on his birthday. I think it's Christmas Eve. I think it's Wolverine's birthday. I guess. Spidey meets up with him at a bar and stuff. And Spidey will drink milk instead of alcohol because he doesn't drink. And they had a bar fight and everything. That was pretty cool. But the Ben rally, we thought we were going a different direction with it, and then the big surprise, he'll be back as Chasm. He's gonna hunt Peter again, and stuff like that. Oh boy, he's being creepy. A creeping Ben, like my man Tom said. Oh boy, and then of course the lead up to the 8th Deaths. If I had to give it a grade, this particular issue, I'll give it like maybe a 3.25. Because like I like some of the stuff that was in there. I didn't love it, but it was good enough to give it a decent grade. I thought 3.25 is decent. And the overall Zeb Wells run, we gave some issues lower than 4. I've given a 2 point something before. But if we're gonna be consistent, we've been giving it at least 4 a lot. You know what I mean? So if I give the overall run, I'll give it a 3.45. You know what I mean? Decent, almost 3.5, not quite there. Not great, not terrible. There are some terrible arcs and a lot of things behind the scenes that, we're not gonna punish Zeb Wells for the goddamn editor and stuff like that, what Marvel likes to do with Spider-Man. So that's my grade. What do you grade it? What do you grade the book, and what do you grade the overall Zeb Wells run?
So the book, I think I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's for the book or the overall?
The book.
Okay, and overall?
Overall. I'm gonna go a little higher and say maybe a 3.75.
Okay. Yeah, because like I said, there's a lot of stuff we didn't like, but we read through some of the books. They're decent books. So there were a lot of decent books, good books that we did enjoy out of this arc. So as Spider-Man fans, because like I said, we're Spider-Man fans, we're gonna keep going through it. So with your grading and my grading, if we overall, you said this and I said 3 point there, and you carried a 1. So overall, it's a 3.69, dudes. So there you go. There's a 12 issue arc coming up. It's for 8th Death for Spider-Man. We're covering 4 issues at a time, so we can get through them real quick. And Damien loves the math. We do great math, don't we? So as I estimated, by the time the final book comes out for 8th Deaths, that particular week we'll do the final 4 books. I think we'll have 1 or 2 weeks of free leeway after we do the first 4 this next week, and the first 4 the week after, where we're gonna finally pick up on the Ultimate Spider-Man. We'll do 2 at a time with those like we normally do, and so finally we get to the relaunch coming in late, I think April stuff, early April, mid-April. So for the Joe Kelly, and of course we didn't even talk about the overall art on the run. Like a lot of people didn't like the JRJR art, a lot of people did. I love his face expression. I love to see him back. I enjoy a lot of the JRJR art. I enjoy the Ed McGuinness stuff. You know what I'm saying? And there was a lot of art. The art from this arc was pretty damn good, I thought. And the people who filled in and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I know we didn't complain too much about the art. And that I did factor in the art in my enjoyment of the books too. So great math, like Sleepy says. And of course, next week, join us. We start 8th Deaths, first 4 books.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoy it. And
Yeah,
then
I just realized I think I might have 61 through 64. I know for a fact I'm probably going to end up having to order issue 66 offline unless I can find it at a local shop. Luckily, hopefully.
you'll probably find them. Like that's selling out like that. So you have time if you have the first four ones. Remember, like I think the next book after that is the dot death book. Like I think there's 35 then dot death 35. It's confusing. They just name number them in order if they're gonna do that. But each his own. We finally finished an hour and 41 minutes, but it's not over, guys, because we're
What?
returning
What?
with a particular arc that we like to do, a segment that we like to
What?
do.
What?
You know you love it. You know you gotta have it. That beautiful sight. Show and tell. I did it backwards, but you guys know what I mean. Show and tell. Beautiful sight. And of course, Tom, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I guess I could. I guess I could go first.
Alrighty then.
So, Phable and Nick and the gang put on a comics cure cancer broadcast. They had a prize wheel. You could donate $25, and if you win a prize and you win something. So one of the things I won was the Hellspawn collection, the Ashley Wood collection, which is really cool. Here's some of the art and stuff. Which I really liked. It was a 10 issue run. And then sometimes I'll jump onto some Instagram sales from like different independent comic shop owners from across the US. This one guy was having an auction, and speaking of Chasm, I happened to like the original Scarlet Spider's costume, and I decided to pick up this Skybox Marvel Universe metal card, graded card of Scarlet Spider. You can't really see the effects on it, but I thought it was kind of cool. So
I love trading cards, man. I'm so jealous. That is so cool. I'm so jealous.
but kind of that's my short show and tell.
Cool. I didn't realize collection complete is Taqi. If it wasn't for Mr. 9-panel grid, which Eric, when you get a chance, just comment on this outside of here. Comment on the video. I gotta put that. I don't understand. I think because you had it before, so I guess maybe you changed or something like that. That's why you don't have the wrench. So don't go blaming me for not having the wrench. But most of my guys here have wrench. That's the only reason why I was like, I gave this guy a wrench, and it's Taqi. Stacy Taqi, what's going on, man? Keep on keeping on. I'm not gonna be too long, but I did promise something on Friday night. I kind of showed it on the show and tell version, and that night, great stuff everybody was showing. Let me give myself the solo act here. And I mentioned I was gonna do this. I have more stuff to show, but I'm not home. I'm at my mom's. So but I had to bring this with me because I was a huge fan of this for a very long time. So I had to try to find them all. And it took a long time to my man Eric, man. You distracted me, man. I mean, don't lie. Come on. Don't say that name. Why you say that name? But keep on keeping on. Growing up when I was 4 years old, this is one of the first cartoons that I got into when I was a kid. I love Transformer, G.I. Joe. My cousin used to watch all that. But when I'm talking about completely understanding, like I feel like 4 years old maybe 3, you might understand a few things, but talk about memories and stuff like that. Even when you get older, you start remembering stuff. 4 years old is when I really start remembering watching these cartoons and stuff like that. And everybody knows I got this guy before, the Black Lion. You know what I mean? I remember, I've showed this before, but I freaking love, the Black Lion that lights up like this, stuff like this. I apologize for the cops behind. I promise they're not looking for me. I'm just in Brooklyn right now, so you already know when you see Phable, he's in the Bronx. He gets the same thing, so it's not that different in Brooklyn. It might be a little nicer out here like it used to when I grew up, but it's still not that different. But I got the Black Lion, Love Me Voltron, remembering while I was watching the cartoon, this was my favorite character, the leader. I always liked the leaders, like Thundercats with Lion-O and stuff like that. While others liked all the other characters, because the leaders are usually goodies and stuff like that. I'm gonna put this guy down, and it took me a long time, but at Target, I finally, months after getting that, I got that earlier, maybe during the summer, or a little bit after the summer. I finally found the Red Lion.
Oh.
Found the Red Lion, man, and I was like, oh, finally, maybe I could start finding them. And I started other platforms and stuff like that. And I finally found the Blue Lion. And the Blue Lion, a story that I told this Friday night, but I'll tell it again. The Blue Lion was actually my first out of the Voltron. I didn't have the entire Voltron set yet. I know I've been given this. And it was my favorite toy at the time. And I've told this story, like what happened with my Sergeant Slaughter tank. Because that was around the same time, like it was stolen. This one disappeared too. But this was my first actually from the Voltron, and I loved it so much. But I remember going, my mom take me to Macy's to Santa Claus. And I'm saying, I don't know if that's a Santa Claus, because I really wanted this Voltron, and I didn't get it last year, but because I think they were hard to find in the beginning. I know my cousin, I think, got it the year before for Christmas. But he was like, don't worry, I think you'll see it this time. And he told me to talk to the elf as he talked to my mom. So I'm guessing, he was promising my mom that Voltron will be under the tree. So thank you, Santa. But I had to say the Blue Lion was my first actual lion before Santa finally bought me the entire set. So since after being a kid and kind of like those, I don't know what happened, they got destroyed or whatever in the move or something like that. I don't have them anymore. I always try to look for it again, but I could never find it. But these came out, the 40th anniversary ones, so I kept keep hunting, and then I finally found the Yellow Lion. I guess you guys know where I'm coming at with this. You know what I mean? Found the Yellow Lion. Finally found the Yellow Lion, and of course, I'm missing one left, guys. One left. Where will I find it? And it's funny, like, it took me months to find one. Then little by little, I kept finding the other ones. This one, I had to go online with this one. But I found it for a decent price, because they were going for over $100 at one point. Found the Green Lion. There we go. There we go. And of course, I don't know if Primetime Time like Voltron like that. But if they only had some way to work together to connect. Yeah, right? Like, there's a reason why there's 5 of them, right? And they all do something. But as he's doing the cartoon, I'm gonna say exactly what Eric was thinking. We're forming Voltron today. You know what I'm saying? Beep, 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 beep. So you know, it's gonna take me a little time, not too much time, but it's kind of easier to form. It's kind of hard to get the tail in on the green line. I'm like, yo, man, tail, get in, tail. What the hell? You know what I'm saying? But man, it's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and that's form Voltron. It would have stunk if I would have found them all, but I couldn't find the green line. But I found the green line, and then boom, there you go. You got the arm. Got one of the arms. I'm put this guy down. Since I formed one arm, I'm gonna form the other arm. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, you know I'm gonna do the soundtrack to it. You know. Beep, 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 beep. Bing, bing. I forgot to bring on that part. I'm gonna do it later. But as you see, I put the legs in. You gotta put this arm for the arms. Bing, 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 bing. Now we got the red lion transformed. Now the arms are good. Let's start. Let's go with the legs. Down, down. There you go. Pretty simple, like the old Voltron. Let's go up. Beep, 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 beep. Hope I'm not putting anybody to sleep. I hope everybody's enjoying me transforming. Got the legs. Now we got the blue line, which is, love the blue line. Because it was my first Voltron, you know, it became my favorite. Black line was my first favorite. But bah. I used to form when I had just the one. I used to form the leg all the time and pretend I had all of them. And like, oh, and it's kick. Like, I was like, and I had a villain and just, one of a big stuffed animal had like the leg cut, do all the action. But here, forming the black line finally. This one takes me a little bit longer, but I've done it. Boom, you got the arms. Trying to get her in there. For whatever reason, it doesn't want to go in. Come on, come on. I've done it. Thank you, Tom. There we go. Got it. Now, of course, this part goes. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, all right? Come on, Keith. Give me a break. Man, he's a little pushy, that guy. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom. Boom, boom. All right. I got. Now you see the whole, in the cartoon, you see the lighting. I understand. I'm trying to. Let me turn it off. I have to turn it off. I'm gonna keep doing that. So here we go. Down, down. Now you see the little lightning. You get form, feet, and legs. So I'm gonna do the legs. Ding, ding, ding. Boom, boom.
Did you hear they're making a live action movie?
Yes, I can't wait. I can't wait. Hoping to do it good. You know what I'm saying? Anything Voltron would love to see. Form, feet, and legs. Form, arm, and torso. Got the arm.
Yeah, man. When I was a kid growing up, if any kid I knew had one of those, you would think that their parents were rich.
Yeah, right. That's exactly what you thought. Form, arms, and body, and now form the head. There we go. Then well, I was ready to drop him. Imagine I go through all that and I drop him and break him. I'm like, oh man, I would have cried. And he'd be like this, bing, Voltron, rah, 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 rah. So here we go, guys, Voltron. I apologize, I forgot the sword and shield. Maybe next time when I'm at home, I'll put the sword and shield. on, and you guys can see what he looks like with the sword and shield. But here we go, guys. I finally got to transform Voltron for the first time in many years, and I did it here on the show. And yeah, man. I hope everybody enjoyed that, cause
Yeah.
my whole childhood's right here, man. Right before Transformers and G.I. Joes, I know that was going on already, and I love those cartoons. But Voltron will always have a special place in my heart because
Kids, talk to me. Are you
as a kid, I just loved the hell out of it. And
We've got
and
I trust
I trust you keep. It has a lot of sayings in it, but that Thundercats and stuff like that, I really loved. And then of course Transformers. I had them all. I had what I could get from Santa, you know what I mean, throughout the years. But my cousins, they all had them. I got to enjoy their toys too. They had a little more than me, but that didn't matter to me. I was happy to have with what I had. And when I got this thing, the original, and this one's taller. This one's taller than. Let me bring my man back. This one was taller than the original one. And hopefully I could find a die-cast version of that one. But they're expensive. They're like $300 to $400. And then they go up even more. But one day I will buy myself that one. But for now, this will do. And this is nice, heavy, tall Voltron. And I'm going to put them down before I break them. You know what I mean? And that's it, man. That's my show and tell. I hope whoever watches this live or on the rewind enjoyed that show and tell segment. We were glad to be back with the show and tell. We were glad to do this. And excuse me, I'm ready to go have lunch soon and watch the Knicks because they play Boston. They might get their ass whooped, but I'm still a Knick fan. You know what I'm saying? And next week, guys, come back here. We'll probably go on our regular 12 o'clock start. But my man Tom, thanks for joining me like always. Anything else you wanna say before we go?
No, that Voltron is beautiful, man.
Thank you, man. I love it, man. I had a lot of fun. My wife's like enjoy every time opening them and stuff, and just glad I found them all. You know what I mean? So, love it. Don't get to get a lot of things these days. It's a little rough, but had to get that. So, station to you all. Love you. Thanks for watching. And anybody who watches live or on the rewind, of course, like always, if you like the video, hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Ding, ding, ding that bell for notification for future videos. For you can watch us just be flat out silly. Thanks everybody in the chats who joined us tonight. And much love to you all. Peace out. You guys know that I always take forever to peace out or do anything like that. And oh look, it's parties going on. Whoever's doing that, thanks guys. I stay Sean. Yeah, station. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Have a great new week. And everybody, just make sure you follow these guys in the chats. All their stuff is in the box below. Like I showed all the thumbnails earlier on the show. Love you guys. Peace.